Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to be balancing the camera on the Zhiyun Crane 3 and we'll show you a quick and easy way to make sure that your camera is securely a snug fit onto the quick release plate, as well as a good balance for your camera on the Zhiyun Crane 3 lab so that you don't have any motor issues or battery draining issues when you start filming. The first thing you would want to do is to screw this quick release plate onto your camera, and it has a screw in the bottom which can allow you to move it a little bit forward or a little bit backward on your camera depending on your preference. So depending on how far to the back you want it to sit or how far to the front of the camera you want it to sit, that will be the position in which you will tighten the screw. Now you might want to use a knife or a coin or something less dangerous than a knife to tighten the screw, because it is going to be tough to just try and tighten it with your hand. It's not going to work very well. So once the quick release plate is on, you can then also remove the lens support if you feel like removing it. For the purpose of this, I've just left the lens support on. So this is the position that your gimbal will be in when it comes straight out of the box, and it's just easier for them to put it like this for packing purposes. But the first thing you would want to do is all around the gimbal you have these little red buttons, and these red buttons unlock each arm individually. Now on each and every arm you'll find there's a red button there which you want to put in the unlock position. And the same with this one, you'll find the red button which should be in the unlock position. After that, you want to pull the gimbal out so that it works like a cage where your camera is going to be sitting in. And this is the position that your gimbal will be in once it's set up. After that, we want to take our camera and then slide it into the quick release plate until you hear this button make a click noise. Then you know it's secure, like that, and push it slowly to the back until you see your camera doesn't flop forward or doesn't flop backwards anymore. So little minor adjustments that you do until you find that your camera sits in one position. Here we go. Once that is done, you can push this quick release arm shut and your camera will be secure and it's not moving anywhere. For the second part of the setup, you want to have your camera in the upright position. Once it's in the upright position, you want to sort of test to see if it flops backwards or forwards. It should be moving freely if you push it, but it should not be falling forward. Like for instance, if I put it in this position, it shouldn't be falling forward or falling backwards at all. If you have it in the upright position, it should sit there. I'm very lucky that this one is just sitting exactly where I just put it, but I'll show you how to do it. So you'll turn the gimbal around, and then this quick release plate arm that you've just used to insert your camera in, this arm is attached to the first motor down here. So on this motor, there's this little release bolt, and if you hold the release bolt, loosen the release bolt, and you pull the arm right down to the furthest position that it can go down to, and you tighten it, you'll see what happens is if I put my camera in an upright position and I let go, it'll fall forward. And that's not what we want. So we'll put it in an upright position, we'll loosen the screw, and we'll gently push this arm in. And just test, just gently let it go, but not all the way, to see when the camera will be sitting in the position that you want it to sit in. And as soon as it stops falling forward, you see now it's falling backwards, you can just make a minor adjustment to the other end, and then as soon as it sits there, it means it's in a good position, and you will tighten this arm up. Now you can put your camera back in the forward position and it should stay there. Right. I think this little adjustment still needs to get a little bit of attention. There we go. That's much better. Okay. The next thing you'd want to do is to ensure that the arm that comes from the base arm, this arm over here, it doesn't fall to the side when your camera is in it. So you'll loosen this little screw on the top and you'll make minor little adjustments. If you can see your camera is going to the one side or the other, you'll make tiny little micro adjustments by gently pushing, and use both hands, because if you use both hands, then you have no chance in damaging anything on your gimbal. So you'll make tiny little micro adjustments, and then as soon as it looks like it's sitting in one position, you can tighten the screw and you're good to go. The last thing you want to do before you switch on your gimbal for first use is to just hold your gimbal to the left and then hold your gimbal to the right. And what shouldn't happen is this arm should not be turning. So this long base arm over here, if you turn your gimbal to the left and it does that, it means it's not balanced. And if you turn your gimbal to the right and it does that, it is not balanced. So you want it to sit in one position. Now, how do you get it to sit in one position? Again, exactly like all the other arms that you've already adjusted. If you turn your gimbal to the left and this guy falls over to your left, then you'll loosen this plate or this arm over here, the screw, and you'll make a tiny little micro adjustment. And then hold it to either side. This one looks pretty good to go, and we'll just tighten it. So if you put your gimbal in the perfect position as if you're going to be filming and you switch on the gimbal, it shouldn't make major movements. It should just quietly align a little bit at a time, or just a little bit, and it takes about 10-15 seconds and the alignment is done. But it should just be tiny movements. So for the sake of this exercise, let us put the gimbal in the perfect position and then press the power on button. Just hold it for a couple of seconds and then let go, and don't touch the gimbal. And those movements are so small, I don't even think you would have seen it on camera. But should your gimbal not be balanced properly, the gimbal will tell you that it's not balanced properly, and it will also show you. The whole structure would be off. So just to show you what could happen, or what the gimbal does, how clever it is, I'm moving the entire position of the gimbal completely out of the way it's supposed to be, and I'm now switching it on, and I remove my hand so that you can see what the gimbal will do. It will jump into place immediately. And there's your camera balanced on your gimbal. Happy shooting.